Good morning. I'm PO3 Darnell, U.S. Navy. Um, in this video, I wanted to talk about boot camp and swimming. Um, I'm nearing my 2-year mark, and I was looking back, and I was talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about boot camp, and we were talking about how horrible the swim was. Um, for if you're someone you want to join the Navy and you don't know how to swim. Let me tell you, you're in for it when you get to boot camp and you still don't know how to swim. When I first enlisted, I enlisted in June 2014, and I started boot camp in December 1st of 2014. And when I enlisted in June, my recruiter kept telling me, hey, get some swimming lessons. You can't swim, go get some swimming lessons. And I never did. you know, After I enlisted, I kind of continued to live my life, the day-to-day life. Then, when I got to boot camp, you know, and that day came for the swim test, I was like, fuck, get up. um, and what I went through from that day, the day, from the swim qual test, it was hell. I'm not gonna lie. Boot camp is easy. Like, it's easy. And if you know how to swim, it'll be like a breeze for you. Um, but I didn't know how to swim. And so I want to tell my story because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. And if you run into anyone else who had that same experience, they will tell you, they will be like, you don't want to go through it. It's hell. Especially during the winter time. Like, I went to boot camp in the winter time in December. It was snowing. I'm from Louisiana. And it was just, had to have to swim during that time period was horrible. Um, I got to boot camp on December 1st, and my graduation date was supposed to be January 21st. January 21st. I didn't leave boot camp until like mid-March because of the swim. Yeah. Um, it just so after watching this video, if you're in that position where you enlisted, you're about to go ship out, and you don't know how to swim, please, like, I'm telling you, you need to go get some swim lessons. Go. You know, it'll be, if you gotta pay for them, I promise you it'll be so worth it. But, yeah, I got to boot camp on December 1st, and that first week, it's kind of like your processing days. Like, you get settled in, they do exams on you, give you shots, all that shit. And then, like, the second week, um, I don't remember what day. They'll do it on, like, a certain day where the whole division, everybody in your division, you head over to the pool to do an initial swim test. Now, the swim test, it's, I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but it was like, it's 3 parts. The first part is, you know, is swim. You get up on a 10-foot tower, you step off, and you come up, and you have to swim, I want to say, 50 meters. It's a 50-meter swim. And with that, you just, like I said, you step off, you come up, and you swim 50 meters. They'll have like a little course outlined for you. It's nothing hard if you know how to swim. And you can only use, I think, like certain swimming styles, like, I don't even know I don't even know the styles. It's kind of like, I don't know, your basic ones, like your basic legit swim styles. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Um, and then after you do that first part, you'll immediately head into the second part, which is prone float. And what that is you're on your stomach, you're in the water, and you're just trying to stay afloat for 5 minutes. You can't spend the whole 5 minutes with your head up. You gotta like put your head in, breathe out, come up, get some air, go back down, breathe out, like that. And for the whole time you're trying to stay afloat. And then after that, the final part, which is really easy, you put on some coveralls, get in the water, you slap some air into your coveralls, and you close it tight, and you should be able to float in your coveralls. And then after that, that's it. You passed. So when that day came, we all went over to this pool, which was like a mile and a half away from our ship, because our ship was like at one corner of boot camp, and then the pool is at a whole nother corner. Yeah, you gotta go through a tunnel and all that shit. So we get there, and it shows a video. And they had us get undressed, and then they separated us. It was like, if you know how to swim, go sit here. If you don't, you sit here. And I remember at that point, the people who knew how to swim, they went and knocked out their test. And then the people who didn't know how to swim, which was like me and I want to say like 15 other black people. There was like a bunch of us. We were they were trying to just give us like basic lessons. And keep in mind that even the people giving you lessons, these are you have your RDCs. These are these swim instructors. They're RDCs as well. They're not gonna talk to you nice. They're not gonna hold your hand. They're gonna talk to you just like every other RDC is gonna talk to you, which makes it kind of worse because you're already nervous, especially if you've never swam before. So it gets kind of nerve-wracking. I remember, towards the end, they showed us a few things, showed us a few tricks, talked to us, and then at the end, they were like, "Okay, you're gonna go test." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I never. I'm like, I still don't know how to swim. I don't know why we're testing. And so I remember climbing up that ladder to the tower. We're all lined up, and I was like the second one. This girl in front of me, they were like, "Hold your hands, hold your nose." I'll say edge, and when they say edge, you gotta step to the edge of the tower. And that's when shit starts getting real. Like you step to the edge, and you look over, and you see that long drop in that deep pool, 12 foot. Yeah, it's kind of nerve wracking. And this girl, she she got nervous. She was like, "I can't do this." And the guy was telling her, you need to step. You're already up here. You're gonna step. And so she stepped and she screamed, and made it all the more nervous for me. But I just went up, closed my eyes, and I just went with it. And I remember coming up, I was screaming. I was like, "I quit! I quit! I quit!" And he was like, "Get him out of here!" Blah blah blah. After that, pretty much, if you didn't know how to swim, they had so the pool offers lessons twice a day, like one time early in the morning and then like one time late in the evening. And you were one of those people in your division that did not know how to swim. You were pretty much spending your morning and your afternoons at the pool. I remember from that day on, every day, like me and a few other guys, we would have to get up at like 5:30. I'm trying to remember. It was like at 5:30, I want to say. 5 o'clock. It was like around that time period. And the rest of the division, they would get up at like 6. We had to get up like earlier than them so we can go eat chow, go eat breakfast, and then go to the pool. So while you're at the pool, you're missing out on doing other things with your division. So that was like in the morning. In the afternoon, I think we would leave at like around 3:30. We would walk back over there for the afternoon lessons. You did that every day, either until you passed or until, when your division graduates. And at that point, if you're still not passing, and you think things are bad, they're about to get a little worse at that point. And I remember, like I said, I went to boot camp in December, and it's cold, it's snowing. I remember, waking up at 5 in the morning, and you're walking a mile and a half in the cold to get in cold water for like an hour and a half. That takes a toll on you, like mentally and physically. And I went like every day. And then my division graduated. At this point, it's like a month and a half later. My division's getting ready to graduate. And if you haven't passed all of the tests in boot camp, they're going to hold you back. And like for me, I passed everything else except the swim. So they were like, at that point, what they do is they put you in this program called FIT. Pretty much, it's a division of people who, either A, didn't pass their PFA, like their push-up, sit-up, run test, or, people like me who couldn't pass their swim. And I remember it was like the day before my division was to graduate, or like 2 days before. The rest of my division, they were getting ready to go pick up their pictures and their orders to their A school and stuff. And they were wrapping up, but it was like me and a few other guys. We were packing our bags to go down the hall to FIT. And that was a hard day. I'm just gonna come out and say, like, I cried that day. I cried because at that point I was stressed out. You know, I didn't want to be there anymore. I felt like I'm never gonna pass this swim test. It was hard, and I remember our chiefs, our RDC, took us down there and turned us over to them, and it got a little rough and boring. Like in FIT, you wake up at like 6 in the morning. You clean up. You clean your compartment, and then you line up. You go have breakfast. Like right after breakfast, you get ready to go to swim. As a division, the people who couldn't swim, they went to the pool, and the people who couldn't do like push-ups, sit-ups, like their PFA, they stayed and they worked on like different exercise equipment or whatever, and they did exercises. So we would go there in the morning. We were there for a few hours. I remember we would come back for lunch. Once we were done with lunch, we would like go right back to the pool. So to walk to the pool and come back was 3 miles. You're doing that twice a day. So you're walking 6 miles a day for swim lessons. I remember in the evening when you came back, you went to chow, you showered, you did nothing else. Nothing else. You just sat there. You couldn't sleep. Couldn't, like the same rules still applied. with your division. You know, there was no computer, there was no phones, there was nothing. They didn't even, like, for the most part, there was no movies, there was no like, there was nothing. Like, you did nothing, literally. You did nothing, except other people around you. And at that point, you're so sick of people, you don't want to be bothered. So it's just kind of like you're just miserable. Until you pass, that's your life. Every day. On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, the pool was closed. So imagine you're sitting there all day. Literally sitting there all day. You might like clean up. And I think on Saturdays they did PT. They had like a, physical training session for like an hour. That was a highlight of your weekend. And I think on Sundays, depending on how the divisions were behaving, they would let us go to like the store to get like, whatever we needed. Phone cards, they let us call the family. And then Monday you were right back to it. Like I said, that was your life every day. And then so with the swim, each day when you get put into fit, they give you 35 days worth of attempts. So like each day was one attempt. And after your 35 attempts, you were done. You were going home. I passed on my 32nd attempt. like I was like I was on my last week of attempts. After that week, I was like, I knew after that week if I didn't pass, I was going home. But when like day one of me being in fit, like the day my division graduated, which was like January 21st, I passed the swim part. I passed part one. And then like a month and a half later, like the last day of February, I passed the prone float, and everybody can do the coveralls. I passed that too. So then I remember like the next week I went to battle stations. And then I want to say like a week and a half later, I left for A school. So from all that I just told you, you probably just like, oh, it can't be that bad. You probably don't have a full picture of, you know, what of everything that's gonna happen. But I promise you, it's nothing fun. It's like, I swear, like one of the most frustrating things I ever went through. And it's just, to people who know how to swim, it's just a swim test. But for me, it was like this big ass challenge because I never swam a day in my life. Never. So, just the only advice you need to take from this is to go get swim lessons. If you enlisted, congratulations. But all that can come to a halt if you go to boot camp and you don't know how to swim. And, you keep trying. And there has been people who, while I was in fit, people who used all their attempts. There's been a lot of people that got kicked out, because they used up all their attempts. Or you just had some people who were just like, no, fuck that. I'm not going to fit. I'm going home. And they get kicked out like that. It's nothing to play with. I promise you, if you go there and you know how to swim, your experience will be easy. It'll be fun. You'll make friends. It'll be a breeze. It's like a vacation. But if you go to boot camp and you don't know how to do something, or you can't do something, like if you're not physically fit, you can't do push-ups, sit-ups, or run, and you can't swim, it's gonna be hard for you. Because like I said, everything else in boot camp I enjoyed. I would have enjoyed more. I would have enjoyed those things even more if I knew how to swim. If I didn't have to worry about going to swim twice a day, every day, you know. So to those of you who are gonna be going out to boot camp soon, I wish you the best of luck. And like I said, I hope you know how to swim. So yeah, trust me, it'll come in handy.